Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're new here, just to get you up to speed, we've been kind of working on this 2020 Buick rebuild. But our air situation is just not cutting it. We've been running the whole shop on this little 6-gallon air compressor, and our tools are not keeping up for the task at hand. So in order to finish this project, we need more air, and that's what we're going to be working on today. So pretty good video coming up. Hope you stick around. So let's get started. I have another air compressor. A couple issues. It's in another building about 300 feet that direction, and there's no wiring set up for it here in the shop. You'll have to excuse the mess, but our electrical panel's over there, and what I'm thinking is the air compressor will go somewhere on this wall. Haven't exactly decided yet, but I got enough conduit that my plan is we'll wire in the compressor and continue that conduit probably over here somewhere, and put a plug for a welder, because we don't have a welder hookup either. So here's the shop, and the compressor is in that garage way over there. So as you can imagine, ever since I built the shop, this garage has kind of turned into just a pile of garbage. I don't exactly remember how I got this in here. I'm hoping that we can just kind of walk it out the door, but there's a lot of stuff in the way. So yeah, I think I'll just be able to kind of walk it out the door. This is gonna be a lot of work. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Okay, that'll work for right now. I don't think my strap is long enough. Not even close. Probably about 90 degrees out right now. Pretty much the next 10-day forecast is high 90s to 100s, so it got pretty hot. Alright, let's see if this is gonna work. Take it nice and easy. Probably keep it fairly low to the ground. Wasn't paying attention, almost dropped it. Didn't realize I was opening the bucket. So now we've got to decide which knockout we want to use on the side of our panel. There's 3 of them here. We're going to do 3/4, so these smaller ones won't work, but we've got these 3. I think we'll go with this one because eventually we're going to have the plug for the welder, which we could just use the one right above it. And if you picture our box, we'll have 2 conduits coming through our box. One in the box for the air compressor, and then one leaving the box for the welder down the run. So I think we'll just start with this one and go from there. Now I'm not exactly an expert at bending conduit, so we've got a measurement here, basically 20 inches. I'll just try to go longer than that and then cut it to length when I bend my 90. There's 2 bends here. We've got our 90-degree bend to turn the corner, but we'll also need an offset bend to get into the box because this hole on the box is stood off of the wall just slightly, so you have to put kind of a little kick in it so that it ends up tight to the wall right here. We might skip that. So if you picture this as our pipe, from the end of the pipe to the outside here, we need at least 20 inches, but really a few inches more that we can cut to length. Now I just gotta decide if I want to try to do the offset in it. We'll just do a little one. Okay, close enough. I've also got this little tool, which is an angle finder. And so when it's flat to the floor, it's 0. And then when we bend our pipe, we'll bend it until it says 90. Just go for it. We'll just leave it there. From the floor, we should hopefully have a little over 20 inches. And we have 23 and a half-ish. So that's perfect. That's what we wanted. Or I see now that our offset's not quite far enough. Whoops. Okay, now it's better, but I just realized it doesn't matter because we're gonna cut it basically completely off. Yeah, we're gonna cut the whole offset off. And now you guys can't see very well, and hopefully I'm not blocking the camera too bad. So this is also completely unnecessary, but I set up a laser centered on that hole, which gives us a line down the wall. So now we need to see if we need to cut the end of this pipe off. We may have to cut the pipe back here to get our box kind of where we want it. You'll have to excuse all the dirt. Plan on cleaning these and painting them eventually. But if we put the box tight to the wall, when the conduit comes in, we'd have to have a really, really tight bend to hit that. If we just build a spacer, which I think I can just 3D print a chunk of plastic, I don't see why not, then we don't have to worry about offsets or anything. We'll just run the pipe straight into the box. Now we'll run it into this bottom hole actually, because if you remember, there's going to be eventually another conduit coming out of the top hole on the panel. So we need to make sure we run it into the bottom hole. And then the welder wire will come in and jog down and go out to another plug. Let's get this panel off. Well, I won't bother shutting the power off. We'll just try to be careful. Just measured. We'll cut it off here because if we use another 10-foot stick of conduit, that puts us in a pretty good spot over there. So we'll cut it off here, meaning we're going to want a strap right here. Oh, that's stripped out, so I'll use a different one, but it'll work for right now. So if our box is centered there, we will cut just shy of the edge of the box. That leaves us a little wiggle room in our coupler thing. Got it cut. Put our little connector on in our box. And our plug will go just like that. So I'll get a spacer and then we will be good to pull some wire. If we go to put this box on, as you can hopefully see, there's a big gap back here. What I did was get this spacer made on a 3D printer, which will go right behind the box. Something like that. Close the gap, put a couple of screws through here, should work pretty good. We'll tighten up all of our fittings and we should be ready to pull wire. What I'm hoping is that because it's such a short run and this cable's so stiff that I should be able to just push it through. I'm taping the ends of these here, and you want to tape them at different lengths. If you put them all the same length, then you got one big knob at the end. If you do them at different lengths, it's a lot easier to push through. I should probably turn the power off, but I'm not going to. We'll just be careful. I've also got a 30 amp 2-pole breaker. Something like that. Now we essentially just have to do the same thing on this side. So since the black and red are just both 120 volt hot, doesn't really matter which spot they go in. As long as the ground goes on the ground, you can mix up black and red, it doesn't really matter. Make sure none of our wires are loose. $120 there. $120 there. And across the two of them, $240. I guess we'll try this again. Guess we'll plug it in, see if it turns on. Wonder if I was supposed to put this plug in upside down. Well, it works. That's good. Need to get something to put under the feet. Well, there you have it, guys. We've got our air compressor moved into the new shop. Probably do an oil change on it, put some feet under it, and we could get back to working on the Buick. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment. I read all the comments. I'll see you guys on the next video.